actually grew up in the county to the north of where I'm sheriff, Jasper County. I graduated from Newton Community High School. From there, I went to Olney Central College, which is in the county that I serve in. From there, I moved to the state of Texas shortly after college. Moved to Port Arthur, Texas, southeast corner of Texas, and stayed in Texas for about 7 years, that's where I got into law enforcement. At the age of 23, I got hired on with the Port Arthur Police Department, served there for 3.5 years before deciding to come back to my home area, which was again the county to the south, where I got hired on as a deputy sheriff there in Richland County. I'd say I had an interest ever since I was a child. I'm growing up, and I think that's basically what my parents, how I was raised. I mean, we were raised to work hard. We were raised to the difference between right and wrong. My family was more of have a servant heart, if you will. They like to be part of the community and be a part of that community. Growing up through school, I was involved in sports and had the team atmosphere. So as it was not my first choice coming out of high school, I actually got a degree in welding and metallurgy. So that's when I moved to Texas to work in the oil industry, if you will, in the refinery areas in Texas, South Texas. But as I was down there, it just wasn't satisfying to me. I wanted to be more involved in my community. I wanted to be able to serve people, help people. One of the triggering factors, I think, when I was in Texas, I was actually away in Maine working for a company, traveling to Maine to work, and Hurricane Andrew hit in Louisiana, which was just about 3 hours from where I was at in Texas. So on my way back to Texas, my church I was with got a group together, and we went to Louisiana and helped with the cleanup, aftermath, if you will. And I think that's where I decided, well, this is more of my passion here. I want to be more community involved, I want to be more helping. And at that point, I think I made the decision that law enforcement was going to be the career I pursued. And it was probably a year and 4 months later before I actually got hired. It is a very rural part of the state. We are about 360 square miles, almost a perfect square, 19 by 20 miles. We have just under 16,000 population. And we have currently 9 deputies. We have 9 correctional officers and 9 telecommunications officers, and we service the entire county. And as far as the jail and the communications, we have one other law enforcement agency in the county, which is the Olney Police Department, with the exception of the state police and other state organizations that come in. But those are the only 2 local law enforcements within our counties. We, unfortunately, spend a majority of our time with illegal drugs, illegal substances. Our main problem in Richland County is methamphetamine by far, but we do see other drugs such as heroin and fentanyl occasionally comes through. When bath salts were heavy, and the K2 drugs were heavy, we had that. But besides those, we see other crimes that are, to me, is associated with drug use. We have a lot of domestics, not a lot, but at least probably 2-3 a month we deal with domestics. Burglaries, thefts, those types of crimes. Not a lot of violent crime, even though we have had that in the past. We've had some, we had back in 1998 a homicide where 5 family members were killed by another family member, were actually bludgeoned to death with a hammer, of all tools they decided to use at the time. So we do see that, we just don't see that on a regular basis as some might in larger places. I made a call the other day where a young lady was she was renting on a property. She was upset with the person she was renting from and broke windows out on her landlord's house, if you will. And we were going to arrest her for the criminal damage, and her comment was, that's okay, I'll be out within an hour, and return and continue doing what she was doing. That's the kind of thing we're talking about, that's if we can't protect someone from that, people are going to take that and protect their own property themselves if police can't do that. And she understood in the very beginning that her comment to me is, I'll be out within the hour. And I kind of jokingly back to her and I said, we're more proficient at that. You'll probably be back within 30 minutes. I mean, the way the law is working now. So we could get you processing in and out. So it could happen a lot sooner than the hour that you're thinking there. But But the victim of that crime is going, how is that possible? Now she's in the same attitude she's in the same state of mind she's in. She's going to come back and continue destroying my property if that becomes the case. And it gets unfortunate that we can't, we're getting to a position where we can't help people like we need to against those that wish to do harm against us or our property. But as far as changes, that's probably one of the most significant ones where in the beginning we were able to, I mean, if nothing else, put that person in custody for a period of time to where they had a cooling off period to where they may not be so upset, or the reasons they were breaking those windows may have passed them. And when they return, they may realize their decisions that they made a day ago, 2 days ago, were probably not the best decisions. They've come to a different state of mind at that point. And it seems like they're taking that away, and if we lose that, it just leaves people with the they're going to have to protect their own property, and they're going to find a way to do that, unfortunately. People, all the time we get cards, we get thank yous. I even had many people that I've arrested thank me. I had a correctional officer for one time that was just, he couldn't believe, because every time we'd bring in, they'd be apologetic and thankful for some of the things that, for actually arresting them. Because they know, most people generally know if they're doing something wrong, they accept that responsibility. At least in this part of the state of mind, they accept the responsibility of what they did wrong if you treat them like they're human. And that's the important part of this, treating people with respect, even if they make bad decisions and bad choices at the time. So yes, some of the most memorable is just the people, and also the employees that I have under me. They have such servant hearts. I mean, we have individuals just recently, we had a gentleman that fell out of his boat in the lake, and we had officers that take all their equipment off, swam out to him to save him. So just the fact that we still have people out there that care and are motivated to do good for other people. Probably a little bit earlier, when we had the homicide in our small village. A family member had went to another family member's home. It was his brother, and his brother's wife or significant other and her 3 children. He actually murdered those 3 children, as well as his brother and his brother's wife with a hammer. And it was a very graphic scene. He had even done things to minor children sexually that he should not have during that process as well. And he is serving, he was 15 at the time. So it's very difficult to even understand how someone that age could have so much evil and hate in their heart at that time. But he is serving a life sentence. He was tried as an adult in our county, received a life sentence, and is still serving that sentence today. And that's probably one of the most difficult scenes, to see such young children that have been devastated and murdered and treated the way they were, as well as the adults in the house as well. It's seeing that day in and day out is very difficult. Unfortunately, where we're at, we don't see that on a day in and day out basis. Other places do. I mean, larger places within our state and our country see that on a regular basis. Fortunately, we do not. It's difficult. I mean, I guess the best thing for me to do is you got to separate yourself from it at times. I mean, I have children, so that definitely affects when you see that. But you've got to separate yourself away from that job at times and enjoy your family, be part of that. Spend time with them. Don't let the job affect you enough to where you distance yourself from your family, because those are the people that you have to count on, and that will be there for you. And secondly, I'm a firm believer of when you experience things like that, you have to do some type of grief counseling afterwards. In our department, we would mandate it. I mean, if we see that type of things, we have to sit down and speak with somebody, because as tough as we are as officers, or at least how tough as we think we are still people, and those type of things still affect us, and we need people to be able to talk to about. And I think I would encourage each and every person that sees that on a day-to-day basis to seek out that counseling. It doesn't make you a weaker person, it makes you a stronger person, if you will, and gives you the ability to continue doing this job for many, many, many years. 100% encourage them. I can remember back to the first day I started on this job. I mean, it was fantastic. I was excited. I was ready to go to work. And young men and women out there today are the same way. They're no different. They desire this job. They want a job. They have servant hearts. They want to help people. They want to be a part of a team. I encourage them 100%. Pursue that career because it's a lifelong career that you will always get tons of rewards and benefits from. There will be negatives, of course, and you got to deal through those negatives, but the positives outweigh the negatives in this job by far. And I 100% encourage folks to do it. I often tell them there's nothing changed today compared to the reasons why they started this job. One of the things that the Academy in our area does is when you first start, they make you write a 3-page essay, if you will, on why you want to be a police officer. So when I see guys that are down and out, I present that to them or tell them, go back and read why you wrote what you wrote when you wanted to be a police officer. Nothing's changed today. Most of us enter this job because we have a desire to serve our communities, to help people. That's not changed. I mean, it's still there, even though they're taking some of the tools away, the way we can do that. But we're still there to help people, and just go back and read and remember why it is you want to do this job. And you will see and understand that it hasn't changed. That reason's still there. I mean, you still want to be a part of this job. And you as a person has not changed. You still have those desires. Work with them within the system how you can, and continue to do the great things we're doing. I just want people to know this is an amazing profession. I mean, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do the same thing. So I would encourage all those young folks out there, men or women, who are desiring to help people and want to be a part of something, want to be a part of a team effort. And we work independently, co-independently, if you will, but we work as a team to solve the crime and keep people safe in our community. So I would just certainly encourage each and every person that if you have that in your heart and that's what you want to do, look at this profession. I mean, it's definitely one to love. It's one to work hard at. It's going to be tough. There's going to be challenges, but if you're a person that likes that and likes challenges and wants to work through issues, this is the job for you.